Yeah.
Okay. I'm Corporal Destiny Silva. I'm with the Public Information Office, and I'm here to talk about homicide number 29 for the year. At approximately 8:40 p.m. on Tuesday, August 18th, the Austin Police Department received a 911 call. The 911 caller stated that a body was buried in the backyard of a residence. Officers responded to the scene of the residence identified by the 911 caller, which was located in the 5800 block of Mojave Drive. When officers arrived on scene, they made contact with the residents there. They advised the residents why they were there on scene and the information they received from the 911 call. Upon speaking with the residents, they received consent to look through the house. They began to look through the house, and in the backyard area, they found a concrete mass and other areas that were consistent or could possibly contain a body. So with that information, officers then secured the area. They went ahead and kept it, secured, locked down. Then the following day, which is Wednesday, August 19th, a search warrant was obtained, and officers then responded back to the scene with a homicide detective. They then began to search the area with the assistance of APD bomb squad, and then also homicide and the officers on scene. They performed an excavation, and they did locate the remains of a deceased individual. Upon locating the remains, they went ahead and turned it into a homicide investigation at that point. They have arrested two individuals or two suspects involved with this investigation. They've been arrested for tampering with physical evidence, which is a second-degree felony. The two subjects arrested are Christy Cardenas, approximately 36 years of age, and a Walker Ray Katz. We will release the booking photos to you guys and provide further information on that as well. But we all are still investigating this case. It is very early on. It's an active investigation. So we do ask if you have any information to please call the homicide tip line. It's the 512-974-TIPS or Crime Stoppers. Again, any information, we want to make sure that this investigation is conducted thoroughly and accurately. So we are reaching out to the community. If you have anything, please call. Questions?
Do you know how long about the body had been there? I know obviously you're still investigating, but do you have kind of a time frame about that?
That's part of the active investigation right now. So immediately when we received that 911 call, officers went to the area. We obviously notified homicide in the event that it was in fact a homicide investigation. So we made sure that we had our officers there and that we had the resources there. And then of course, once we obtained consent to look through the home and we determined that this might actually contain a deceased person, we went ahead and secured the area and obtained a search warrant so that we could further the investigation.
And how would you characterize the relationship between the two individuals who are in custody?
So I don't know the relationship of the two that were arrested. I do know they were both residents at that location. And then as far as the person that is deceased, we aren't identifying that individual at this time because we don't have confirmation on the identity, and next of kin has not been notified. However, we do have some information that was provided by the suspects that have been arrested. But again, that's not final confirmation, so we're not going to provide that name at this time.
Is there anything that police that you guys tell us about what leads up to what caused this, or what led to this death?
That is still part of our investigation. We have preliminary information just based on, again, talking to the suspects involved, that there may have been some kind of relationship between the suspects and the individual. So this appears to be an isolated incident. So we'll go through the process where they will conduct an autopsy, and then once we have that information, we'll be able to provide it.
So according to the affidavit, it said something about one of the suspects telling the one who called 911 that there were, they bleached some of the marks. Have detectives been able to find any blood or anything like that in the house?
So for all of those details, I'll refer you to the affidavit on that. But yes, one of the suspects, the preliminary information shows that she provided that information to the 911 caller, that Christy Cardenas provided that information to the person that called 911 which ultimately led to officers responding and then this investigation.
And is it just those two who live in that home and the other people live in that home?
I don't know if there's any other residents, but I do know that those two were residents at that location, and those are the two that the officers and the homicide detectives made contact with at this point. But again, it's early on, so there could be more information, there could be more people involved, so please contact that homicide tip line if you have anything further.
Last question.
Well, the affidavit also mentioned that a neighbor had reported seeing one of the suspects unloading those cinder blocks. Like, how long ago was that? Was the concrete still wet? Anything about that?
I don't have the exact details on that, so again, all I have available is what's on the affidavit. So again, that's why it's so important we reach out to the community and we find out all the information we possibly can, because that's vital information that was provided to homicide detectives. Like, I saw these two individuals walking in and out, or I saw them carrying cinder blocks, or they visited this location. Anything out of the ordinary, you might not think it may apply, but just any information, it could be really helpful and can help us solve this case.
Thank you.
Thank you, Destiny.